Just go over, if someone wants to drop off a head to you, do you offer that?
Yeah. So I'm out in Sarsfield. I've got a little shed here and a table outside. If anyone wants to drop off a head, can do. Just swing in, chuck it on the table.
This is the deer head table. Obviously shot a fox last night. Good on you, man, mate. See you when you're done, stag.
Normally they contact me through Instagram and work it out. But it's pretty straightforward. Anyone can do it.
Yeah, I'll throw your Insta handle on the video so people can check out your page. What's current pricing of that?
Current pricing, so if it's ready to go, so bottom jaw's removed and the skin's removed, it's $50. If it's a complete bring, bark and run, so skin on, bottom jaw, pretty much half head and neck, it's $100. I'm just gonna take it all off myself and clean it up. It's just a bit more work.
We need an intro to Munro Macerations, and how/why did you get into it?
How the f do you start that? Munro Macerations. How and why I got started into it, basically at the time I was doing a lot of hound hunting and a lot of blokes there were skull capping the deer. I don't think it looks as good, especially in sheds. So decided to try and do some Euros, as we all tried before, boiling them and the mess it makes. So I found out about the maceration process, and that's how the museums do it for their collections. So I got in doing a bit of research on how to do it, and found out it was pretty straightforward. A bit messy, but comes up really nice, and here I am. Maceration's basically just bacteria eating the flesh in warm water. All I have is tanks. If you don't have tanks, you can have buckets, anything that holds water, with some fish tank heaters, some elements. They keep the water warm, which produces bacteria, and the bacteria slowly eats away the flesh. I use normal tap water with all the chlorines and all the crap in it. Doesn't matter. You can use tank water, rainwater, anything.
What are the benefits over boiling and other methods?
If you've tried boiling before, you can know how messy it can be. The flesh doesn't quite come off the bone as easy. Also, the cartilage in the skulls as well, from boiling it breaks away all the cartilage up the nose and up the nasal cavity. It doesn't look as good, and it doesn't seem to come out as white and as clean as maceration.
So for anyone that watches most of my videos, this is Rosh's stag that he shot a few weeks ago, and it has come up an absolute treat. As Luke was saying, you can sort of see all the membrane in there is just undamaged by the maceration process.
Yeah. Boiling, you sort of lose all that, and up the nose, all the cartilage.
If someone was dropping off a head to you, what do you need from them? Or if someone was going to do it themselves?
Normally, step by step, the skin has to be removed.
So to get your heads to Munro, you need them at least this point with the head cut off. I mean, you could take a whole deer there if you wanted and he could cut it off, but you don't need a saw or anything. Can't show too much because YouTube won't like it, but basically you just come down behind the ears there if you haven't done it before. Just wiggle your knife around in there, get through it, and you'll end up at this point. I'll make a cut up here, then get up to the coronets. As Luke says in the video, you don't need to get all this skin off around the coronets. Sort of about an inch of that can stay on. I'll probably try and get most of that off for him, and then start peeling my way down, and then come up from the mouth. Probably when you're about sort of near this gland here, start coming up from the mouth. I'll try and show a little bit, but yeah, YouTube won't let me show too much. Or you can just drop it off as is, and pay a bit extra, and he'll just do the whole lot for you. So, but I always drop him off face skin, just less work for him and a little bit cheaper for me. All right, once you get to this point, I'm probably gonna have to desaturate it for YouTube. But yeah, if you haven't done it before, once you get to this point, all I've used this whole time is just a scalpel. A lot of people use a screwdriver around here. If you're getting a taxidermy mount, then yes, use a screwdriver or be a lot more careful than I have here. But yeah, because this is getting macerated, I don't have to worry too much. I'm not being too careful. But yeah, I've got down to this point just below these glands here. And then I'm going to come up through the mouth. bottom jaw does not matter, because by the time I get there, I'm going to rip all the bottom jaw off anyway, so you don't have to worry about skinning the bottom jaw. So just go up through the top. All right, so we're at this point here. Now, I take my scalpel, I'm going to go down in there and sort of up along here, and that's just to free up this bottom jaw. All right, so we're making a bit of progress now, so I can start getting the scalpel into here. Once you can get your mouth open about this much, I like to get it on the ground, and I'll usually try and just fold this bottom jaw backwards. And yeah, you should be able to start ripping it apart by hand, and it'll just come apart. You might need a knife to just trim apart some of the connective tissue, but yeah, that usually gets the job done. Done. And that's it. So that there's ready to go to Munro, just like that. He's an ugly looking head, this thing, eh?
You can leave the lower jaw in, it just takes longer, it's more flesh, like the tongue and that, for the bacteria to eat. Ideally, if the head's got the skin removed and the bottom jaw removed, it'll be a lot quicker. It can take up to about 12 days in the water, then drying and all that afterwards. Skulls themselves, you don't need to remove the eyes or anything like that. So I'll leave them in here for 3 days, change the water every 3 days. I've tried bigger tanks, smaller tanks. I've found less is best, less water's better. Temperature as well, outside temperature, winter it's a lot slower because everything's colder. So this size seems to work, buckets will work as well, but you need to keep the water around the 30 to 33, 34 degrees. The warmer the better, the bacteria thrives, works better. If you're trying it and it's taking a long time, it's a good chance that it's too cold or there's too much water. The elements I run are just eBay fish tank elements, 500 waters. They seem to hold temp in a cold shed over winter just fine. All right, first water change. I left this a bit long, I forgot yesterday, but this is day 4, so see the water's gone down a bit. First thing you gotta do is turn the element off, or you will blow it up if you leave that on. And then we'll drain the water. So the flesh is already starting to come off. If you've got a bucket or you're doing anything without a drain, even with a drain if you haven't got a grate in the bottom, but if it's a bucket and you're taking the head out, just check the teeth. Make sure you're not going to lose any teeth, but yeah, that's it there. Nice and smelly. And then just get some water. I like to, no high pressure or anything. Don't want to get high pressure on the antlers, especially with a bit of velvet like this. You can wash it off, just rinse it out. It's alright to get some on the antlers. See a little bit of crap sticking there. What I like to do is get the hose, especially around the backs where you can't see. Just wash that off. Just makes it easy to clean up in the end. That's not too bad. Not much sticking on them. If there was a bit sticking on them, I might get a bit with the after the second rinse. That's when I get a toothbrush and just wipe it off, make it a bit easier in the long run. Then after it's all empty, rinsed off, shut the valve, fill it back up again, just so it's at the base or just a little bit over those coronets. Probably get it to the base of the coronets at the moment. You can see the back of the skull's a bit lower, but sometimes there's excess meat. It's a little bit higher, so you have to go over the coronets, which is fine. Then, yeah, once that's filled up, I'll switch the element on and come back in 3 days. All right, this is the second water change. I'll turn off the element, pump the water.
You see a fair bit of the flesh has come off. It was good. Normally I'll leave it around to the third water change, then I'll start taking bits of flesh off, but a lot of this is falling out, so might have a look at that now. You can see that flesh pretty much is falling off the back. So, a bit awkward to do while I'm holding a bloody phone, but that's sitting there. Gloves are a must. Just pick out all the eye socket, all that crap. Take that out. Dispose of it. Definitely don't get any in your mouth. Doesn't smell too good, but it will speed up the process. Let's get rid of the last of this. That's pretty good. As you can see, the teeth are still in, but it's very loose. Yeah, they're pretty much falling out. So, yeah, just got to check that. Obviously, if you're in a bucket or whatever, I've got a little grate in the bottom to catch the teeth, but always check on that. I'll put this back in. I'll change out my gloves and give it a hose and a rinse and fill it back up again. Just giving the tub a bit of a rinse and give the head a rinse. Just chuck them back in. There go the teeth. Hear them fall out. You can lose them very, very easy. And yeah, same as last time. Give it a bit of a rinse over the back. And again, doesn't look like there's too much on the base of the antlers there. A little bit on the back, but that's rinsing off. That's no drama, so don't need to get to them with the toothbrush. Try and clean it off. They'll be fine. Yeah, that's about it. I'll shut the valve, fill it back up, turn the element on, and wait another 3 days. Just a little tip. Not all deer get nice and even like this. You get bongers like these two. That one sits in the tub, not too bad, but it's not always the case. This one's sitting here not too bad with the water level and the element nice and just above the coronets there. This one, a funny looking fella. The weight of the head just wanted to lean forward, so the back meat was sticking right up, and it pretty much meant I'd have to submerge all the antlers. So all I do is a little flexi strap like that, hold it in place, and that's all you need. Just try and keep the antlers that don't need a bound of water out of the water. And like I said, a little bit at the base of the coronets is fine, and clean them up, and yeah, make your life a bit easier. All right, up to the third water change. It's roughly around 9-10 days. This one seems to be coming along really well. Normally, when I do the water change and then I physically remove all the meat around the eye socket and all that, normally they clean up pretty quick after that. So they're normally about the 1 more 3-day run in the tub, and that's clean enough to remove and then dry out and start cleaning up. So and a bit of a rinse. As you can see, it's pretty well done. Pretty well done. Let that drain out. There will be teeth in the bottom of that. I'll take the head out, hang it up, collect the teeth, and yeah, I'll show you what I'll do next. That's the head out and hanging up. So got a bit of flesh there still on the nose. Get a little bit in the back of the ears there, but that's pretty well, most of it cleaned up. A bit of shit there on the antlers that we'll clean up in a minute. So put in those pliers. Sometimes if it's stuck base of the nose like that, it'll take a bit to get off, but pull it off, comes out. And then you've got this soft cartilage here, which looks like it's hanging on still pretty well. I'll try and get this. It's going to be very, very hard with the bloody phone. I might, there it goes. Pull that out. Like so. I think after, if I normally did it, I normally do 4 waters worth, so 4 dumpings, 12 days. This has been short by 3 days because it came along so quick. Normally this would just fall off. You'd still have to pull this cartilage out, but that's fine. Just a little bit more effort. And then, yeah, as you can see, keeps all that bone and that intact in there and in there. So you just want to rip that off, get rid of it. I'll get to those bits with a knife, clean them up. Got little bits meat around the ear here. Get rid of them. I'll try and do that. I've got to find a pointy nose pliers to get in there. That side's just about, that's pretty much gone that side, so that's good. The teeth just hanging in there, so keep an eye on them, you don't lose them. Yeah, that's about it. I'll get to that. I'll get the hose, give it a bit of rinse off, clean that crap off the antlers, get the toothbrush, and yeah, continue cleaning it up. Give it a bit of a rinse off here, especially down the back of the skull there with the bone ears. Wash all that crap out. It'll all come out through that nose cavity. Good rinse, all that crap off the antlers. In the back of the skull there, crap there. And around the teeth. Not too bad. So, antlers themselves, a little bit of crap on them, not too much. You can see here with the velvet, it likes to come off the water, so that's very hard with a full velvet deer. You cannot put the velvet in the water. It will all peel off. This one's not too bad. I'll be able to, once it dries, and after I glue the teeth, I'll be able to stain that up so it looks like the rest of the antler. That's fine. Clean it all up, won't even know. You can see there. Not too bad. I'll give it a rinse. Probably get to those bits, just pick them off with a knife. And then the head will stay out here. It's not the best of weather at the moment, so a couple of days drying. If it's going to rain, I'll probably just chuck it under cover. But yeah, while the sun's out, when it's out, hanging out in direct sunlight just helps naturally bleach and whiten that skull. And yeah, normally takes a couple of days, and after that I'll take it inside the shed, glue the teeth. Some of the younger deer you got to glue the base of the nose and that as well. Those bones come loose. And then yeah, clean up the antlers there at the base of the coronets, and if need be, if it's not sunny enough and it's not white enough, I'm not happy, I'll run some bleach on it. So with any old knife, whatever you got, don't have to be sharp, just basically scraping off that leftover crap. And there. Very hard to do with just one hand. Makes it a bit easier when you got them hanging up and not on a bench trying to walk away from you. I need to hold the skull. I need 2 hands. Oh no, it's coming off. This bit will take 2 hands to get to. You also get little bits in there. That side's good. Side's got a little bit of crap in there, so let's try and either dig it out with the knife and then hose the rest of it out. It's pretty much those 2 holes there. That's it. And as I mentioned, the back of the ear here, you get a bit of meat, but that's pretty much out. The hose will get that. You will find when it dries, I don't know if you can see in there, these bits, they can dry up. That's fine. You just, once it's dry, you just get a knife like this and go along, scratch it off, or you can try and get the most of it now while it's still wet. A bit easy to work with, but you will get that once it dries out. You just get a knife, scratch it off, and yeah, clean it right up. Alright, it's been a few days and his head's dried out. Unfortunately, with the weather here in Victoria, no sun, raining, it hasn't come out as white as I like it. It's been a bit miserable here, so I will be using the peroxide to clean it up. But before I do that, I've got to glue the teeth and the nose bones in place so I don't lose anything while I'm doing that. I just use the Loctite 406. I glue it on the underside with the nose bone, so as you can see it's fairly loose. So all I do is double glue there, double glue in the middle, and the double glue there on those joins, and that stiffens that right up. I do it on the bottom side so you can't see it. Same with the teeth. The teeth I'll actually turn the skull on the side like that and run a double glue at the base of the teeth so it runs all the way down, and then turn it around, tip that over again, do that side, same thing. The reason I do it on the inside is that glue can leave a little bit of a gloss, so if you do it on the outside and it runs, you see it get a bit of a gloss finish, which you don't really want to see. So if it's on the inside, you can't see it. Some teeth you'll find come out like that one. What I'll do is I'll actually take it out, fill the holes up with that glue, and then push it back in. The other bars don't want to go in. There you go. And once that's done, so I've run it on the inside, taken the loose teeth out, filled the holes. I'll then just go along, push them down, and run a dab of glue in between the teeth just to hold them together as a set. And that's pretty much gluing. That's all you have to do. And once that's dried, it might take a few hours with that glue. I normally just leave it a day, make sure it sets. Once that's done, I'll come back and peroxide it. Alright, the teeth and nose bones are glued, they're dry, so that's done. Just before I whack some peroxide on it, I'm just going to try and clean it up a bit. You see some of that dried white stuff there, so I'll just get a knife, scrape it off as best as possible. Sometimes get some stuff under the antlers there, just scrape it off and clean that up. Doesn't need to be a sharp knife or anything, doesn't need to be a knife, just something to help clean that up. Basically get as much crap off it as possible, and then once I've done that, I'll get it over the table and peroxide it. Right, so I wasn't too happy how this came out. We've had some miserable weather here. In direct sunlight they would come out a lot wider. You can see it's a bit stained there, the base, so I'm going to peroxide this deer. Basically it's just straight peroxide. What's that? That's 12%. In a bowl, a little brush, that's it, and yeah, just paint it on. Don't get any on the teeth. I try and avoid that, or the antlers. Obviously you don't want to lose stain on them. I just do the whole skull underneath, and yeah, around the base of the coronets there, just gently. If you do get some on the antlers or on the teeth or somewhere you don't want it, just hose it off and start again, it'll be right. You can always stain up the antlers or anything later on if it does bleach it. But that's pretty much it. I'll just put this on, cover the whole head, hang it up on one of the hangers. That's the end result. Plenty on there, don't be shy. Cover the whole head, every last bit of it. I'll let that sit there till tomorrow, then rinse it off. If you're not happy with it after the first time, you can always do it again. You can leave it 48 hours, doesn't really matter. But I just tend to do it every 24 hours. Normally one coat's enough, that's plenty. So tomorrow afternoon, I'll rinse that off, give it a bit of clean with some dishwashing liquid as well. Just get every last bit of it off, help clean up the head, make it smell a bit better. And yeah, again, just leave it out in direct sunlight like these ones, just to help dry it and naturally bleach it, so that should come up nice and white. So it's roughly been 24 hours, a day later. You can see how much whiter these skulls come up with that peroxide on it. So all I'm going to do now, it's pretty simple, just going to rinse it off with a hose. Just rinse it downwards, light pressure. You don't want to use too much pressure when doing all this, because you can blow some of the stain and crap off the antlers. So just a light shower. Once I've sort of hosed that all off, I'm just going to get some hot soapy dishwashing liquid with the toothbrush, and just going to give it a good scrub with that. Normally get all the way in and around with the toothbrush, give it a good scrub, and any leftover water on that I'll actually tip down the back of the skull. It runs out the base of the nose there. Just try and get all that stinking brain residue and whatever's left in there, just try and clean it up and get it smelling a bit better. But that's about it. So now it's dry, it's all glued up, it's been peroxided and it's been cleaned up with dishwashing liquid. The final stage for this one anyway, with a little bit of velvet on it, as you can see there. It's just touching up the stain on the antlers. For this, I just use potassium. I just got that off eBay. Goes a long way, lasts forever. This is some of it still dried on the bottom of the bowl. I literally don't have to add any more. I just add a tiny bit of water and start applying it to the wider areas to try and blend it in with the rest of the antler colours. So basically I'll put some on, walk away, let it dry for a few hours. It goes on purple, but it comes out a lighter brown colour. So I'll put a little bit on, walk away, let it dry, see if it's dark enough or not, then put another bit on if I need to, and vice versa. And that's about it. So we stain up the head. Use a real fine art brush for that. To apply the stain's pretty straightforward. Add a bit of water in there. Probably got too much. That was just the leftover residue in the bowl. You can see how dark it's come out, and it's purple. So just mix it up. Tap it on the side so you don't get any splash on the actual bone itself, the skull, and yeah, just lightly apply it in the light areas. Try and stain them up. After a few hours, it will dry and it will come out a light brown, and yeah, just go over it as you need to. And yeah, again, try not to get any on that skull, or you'll be trying to re-bleach it, get that stain off and removed. But that's basically it. I'll go over all the base, the coronets there where the velvet has lifted a little bit, and it's gone to bare bone, it's got white, just stain them up to match, and that's about it. So it's roughly been around 3 weeks, and this head's all done. The last step being just touching up those antlers with stain. As you can see, it's all matching now, can't see any white bits. So that came up pretty good. Yeah, roughly around 3 weeks. Probably could have done it quicker, but work and everything else going on. And yeah, that's the end result. Hope the bloke likes it.
Sometimes you can't help it, you have to, but the coronets will end up underwater. This is fine on a completely hard antlered deer. That's no dramas at all. It doesn't matter, you can have it halfway up the antlers, but less water's better. But when you've got a deer that's got a bit of velvet and that, it will peel and try and lift off. A full velvet deer, very, very hard. You don't want to submerge it at all. You don't want that touching it, it will destroy it. On the smell, if you're gonna try this at home, I suggest you keep it away from your house or your neighbours or anything like that. You will get complaints. There is a fair smell. You've got to be good with smells, especially after the 3rd day. That water gets pretty ripe. So if you're going to do it at home, just dispose of it. Dig a hole, do something, get rid of it, because it does smell. I'm fortunate here. I don't think my neighbours can smell it. They haven't complained yet, but it can get pretty bad, especially if you've got a few heads going. And yeah, I always wear latex gloves when I'm dealing with the heads, and especially after that 9th day when I'm in there just pulling the excess flesh off, just to make the process go quicker. I never open my mouth. I keep your mouth shut, because it slops, you drop stuff and it makes a mess, and it does stick. And if you've got a missus, she's going to hate you for it. But yeah, it comes out well. It comes out good.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah. Fucking Jesus! You can tell I've been working night shift. One thing I found with deer that are losing their velvet, you will get, if you're outside or even in the shed here, you will get flies because of the smell. As I've mentioned, the flies will land and lay maggots on the base of the coronets. I've had it in some instances, it's like in the middle of the summer. It's been pretty bad. You will see maggots on them. I basically just get some bug spray and kill them as quick as I can, or every 3 days I'll come out and give the base of the coronets a spray. Doesn't affect them at all or hurt them, but if you do leave it and those maggots get in under the velvet, they will lift the whole lot up, and then you'll be doing a lot of touch-up work at the end with that potassium. Yeah, just a lot more work in the long run, so it's just easy to try and prevent it, but it does happen.
And one thing we found with Holly's one as well, the importance of velvet locking it or treating the velvet prior to maceration.
Yeah. Like I said, if you're doing a completely velvet deer, it's very important that water does not touch it at all. It might mean that you have a patch on the back of the skull that you might have to actually pick the flesh off because it couldn't submerge it completely, just so the water did not touch that velvet. But you can clean that up at the end, that's not a problem. But yeah, velvet lock, what was it, in the sun for what, days, just to make sure it's dry. Yeah, they do hold a lot of fluids and a lot of blood. One of the ones I did for Baden, a lot of that fluid afterwards, once it dry and just the warmer weather, when it was hanging up, the velvet lock hadn't quite set at the base of the coronets, and a bit of that fluid, it stayed in shape, but a bit of that fluid ran down and blood started staining the skull, so then I had to go through with the peroxide and clean it up a bit. But yeah, just a lot more cautious with velvet deer, that's all.
Another little tip, I shot this deer a couple of days ago. He's tried to remove skin off a deer's face before. You all know around the base of the antlers, the coronets is the hardest. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. Best thing about maceration is you don't have to remove it. So as you can see, I've just cut pretty close to it. I've left a big chunk here, I've just cut through the middle so it separates, and all you got to do is, show you, at the back of the skull there, just run a knife down and cut through. So after a few days each side, cut down. After a few days that skin will literally just peel off as long as it's got that cut down each side. I cut down the back of the skull because your knife will mark the bone. It's at the back where you won't see it. If you do it at the front, you will see it. So yeah, just another little tip.
One thing I found, when I've got them outside for drying, if I've forgotten about it on my way I'm working and it starts raining, depending what the deer's been rubbing against, wattle or whatever, the water can run down the antler, and actually that colour, that stain can stain the skull. Normally I'll try and look at the weather and just get them under cover until it's sunny again, then get them back out to dry, but it's not the end of the world. If that does happen, like I said, you can use the peroxide to clean them up so they look white again, but just one little thing to remember.
So Luke can also do dog skulls, cat skulls, fox skulls, whatever, pig skulls. They come up good.